Hello, friends. Nicholas here with DIVO Talks, DIVOted Talks, whatever you want to call it. And I can't get that song. That's the way. I like it. That's the way. I like it. I know. Now it's in your head, and you're welcome. Do 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 do. And it felt like it was stuck in my head because I could benefit, or you could benefit, or others could benefit from me talking about it. And so that's the way I like it, right? We are the experts of ourselves. That's something I've said before, but sometimes we may be confused about what it is we like or what we need. In Ayurveda, we acknowledge that consistency, homeostasis, is what the body desires. And so once you get into a disease state, the disease state self-perpetuates. And so we sometimes have distorted cravings or distorted desires that perpetuate that state because it has become the set point. So much so that some people, you have your vikṛti, which is what you're born with, but then you have your vikṛti, which is what life experiences have caused. But if you have chronic vikṛti, then that can actually become your vikṛti because it has embedded so deeply that you transform and change around that. And so it goes back to, that's the way, I like it. Now that is the kapha anthem. Kaphas like things the way they like them. They like predictability. They like consistency. They like comforts. They like the things what they do. And I would argue that Vata people do as well, but they like a lot of diversity and they like a lot of stuff. Like kaphas are that, like, I want what I want. I want those shoes that never wear out. I want that shirt that I've worn for decades. Like, I want that warm hot cocoa by the fire because that's what I've always done. hmm And they know what they like. And that's the way that they doshically operate, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But being able to assess to know that you are in a healthy manner craving, in a healthy manner intuitionally making decisions, that in a fruitful way are able to show up for your greatest well-being, for your greatest benefits. And what does that all mean? It means that taking care of ourselves is an inside job, not just by what we put in, but what we're thinking about externally, about the things that we're observing, about our experiences, the situations that we allow ourselves to be in. And so if we started to notice the way our body likes things and the well-being that it brings with it when we put ourselves into that situation, and the body goes, I like it, the mind goes, I like it, the spirit goes, I like it. And so we start to pay attention to that, right? A lot of times people are just so haphazard and here, there, everywhere that their bodies can't decide. They can't mentally understand or grasp or wrap their head or body or whatever around the things, because they're not even paying attention to them in the first place. And so journaling is very powerful in this way, or at least having a regular practice that is consistent, maybe negotiable, but still consistent, right? Like we talk about using Bikram series, the 26 and 2. It is standard and standardized. And that's the way it is. But you start to notice how you show up differently, and then you can make assessments about what's going on in your life or changes that other things are causing within your life, or the impacts that they're having, like a domino effect. And so, bearing that in mind, what does that mean for you, the listener? What does that mean for me, the guy talking right now? It means that if we don't treat ourselves like a case study for whatever topic it is we're looking at, and treating it with, controls and variables and things of that nature, we don't really get to know it. Like, we could meditate until we get to the essence of that, but the minute we leave meditation, things are different. And so we have to be able to relationally be in different situations and bring different consistencies with us so that we can see the outcome, so that we can choose what it is that we like. That was cute, right? That was clever, right? And this may not be easy, but we also live in a decade and a world right now that is full of distractions. And some people say the distraction is the point, and I don't know that it is. The distraction helps people sell more. The distraction helps people be moved more easily in different directions, especially with regards to sales. But that may not be the intention. That may just be the function, or the outcome from the function of inundating us with information. And so some people probably do hijack that and make use of that. But notwithstanding that, it may feel tedious because we just haven't practiced it, right? I'm amazed sometimes when I meet some clients and they're like, oh yeah, when I do this, this happens. Or when I focus on this, this happens. And they have this awareness that's very intimate with what happens within them and around them and, their life. And it's beautiful. And I recognize when I see them doing that, how little I do that. I'm just trying to get sometimes from point A to point B in my life, which sometimes is great because it helps me survive drudgeries. And other times it's like, wow, I really missed out on some things. I don't ever feel regretful of things in my life. I do find things to be regrettable, yet I don't have regret, if that makes sense. Sometimes I do wish things were different, but, that's no more than saying I wish my mom was still alive too, right? There's a lot of things that I wish were true but aren't true, and that's fine. That doesn't mean that I'm living in, some fantasy land that I can change it or make it different, or that, if I just hope or wish hard enough, it'll fix it. I feel good within what my capabilities are, and hopefully you do as well. And so what can we use this for? We can use this to better show up in our lives so that we have better outcomes with well-being and self-care consistently. And my wish for you, friends, is that you do it sooner rather than later. You will do it when you're ready, and you will get there when you get there. But why not today? Why not tomorrow? Why not this be the best year yet? I guarantee that permission slips are holding you back, like we talked about in the last episode. But that's okay. You'll get there when you get there. But again, here's the question. If not now, when? Why not today? Be well, be free, friends. You deserve it.